Hello. Hi. So Lillekanin is still in game. Talk to Goblin. Said I'd like to follow your matches, please. He says, sure, no problem. I do want to note that there are some pretty notable folks who are about to have a game ready to go, like Snoot and Mana and some of your other favorites from Europe. But the reason I'm specifically not picking them is there is a mainstream today, of course, and they will be getting first dibs and, of course, kick you out priority. So I really don't want to go set up, wait 10 minutes for a matchup, and then find that we are actually not going to be casting that game, you know? So there's a lot of fun players in the bracket, and I think we're going to have some good games for sure. But I will probably, just to let you guys know, not be picking like the most popular votes unless we know there's no chance that it's going to be disrupted by the mainstream. The lamestream media. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I am so... You versus Goblin, baby. I'm casting. Let me know the maps. Alright, so I think we're gonna go with the Lillekanin next. Oh, excuse me, I rubbed my eyes. I'm so tired, guys. I shouldn't be casting. I should be sleeping. I stayed up till like... Okay. Hey, haters in chat. You ever wanted a good reason to shit on Rifkin? Here's a legitimate one, okay? Last night, I had, like, a really weird lonely night, okay? You guys may have seen, I tweeted, and I'm not gonna lie, I was super fucking relaxed and chill and just, like, in the zone for, like, an hour, right? Sorry, Logan's having a bug. But after that, I got out of the shower, and I was going to sleep and couldn't sleep, so I rolled around, I watched some Futurama, and I just got hit by, like, a bad case of the lonely, so I ordered a fucking... large pizza and I ate the whole goddamn thing on my own. Fuck. I haven't done that in like at least a year. Fuck me. So right now I've had no breakfast food to wake up. I got some drink on, but that's like this is fucking G Fuel or whatever. I think there's like 25 calories in this. It's not much. I got nothing in me right now because I'm gonna I'm starving myself as long as I can today to punish myself. Rifkin, don't fucking eat pizzas. Don't eat a whole pizza on your own. Unless it's like, you want those tiny little personal pizzas, then that's fine. But I'm like 90% sure that was like an entire day's worth of calorie intake. And then some even. And then some. But yeah, they should be doing the maps, and we'll be getting invites here in a moment, and we'll get this party started. PVT, Lillekanin, and Goblin. If you guys don't know much about either of the players, quick little rundown for you is Goblin is really not a bad European. He is, in fact, a cheesy European, which makes him very fun to watch. And we'll sometimes see really disgusting strategy come out of him. On the other side, you got Lillekanin, who I would describe almost the exact same way. So I think this is going to be a really... interesting matchup. I'm not going to promise you guys like macro games. I'm not going to promise you like an amazing set of series here, but I think this will be fun, and that's all I'm really looking for. But looks like the lobby's going up. Let me get an invite here. Boink. Hipster base trade. Why is base trade a hipster? Oh yeah, those asking about Zombie Grub. She went to Korea, for those who don't know. We did not plan to cast this today. This was kind of like wake up and YOLO. So it's funny, they actually, so we looked into trying to cast a little bit of last season. What ended up happening though is I guess they've imposed this new set of like caster approval rules and all this. So like before we were like automatically good to go. Oh, I got a FedEx delivery confirmation. Cool. Whereas we didn't know we had to actually like apply or reapply or whatever. We're not like above the law, so we applied and it was like weeks without a response. So we just went above ESL's head and went to Blizzard directly, and they're like, "Yeah, you're fine, you're good." So you may see us doing some of the Valencia coverage. Maybe it'll be just today. Maybe it'll be no other coverage, but you might see some more coming from us now that we have permission to. Anyways, we are in game number 1 of a brand new series, and this one is going to be fun. In the bottom, I gotta imagine I'm going to be using this and this a fair bit during the series. Or at least I'll be looking for an excuse to. At the bottom right, we've got the green Terran kicking off. It's Lillekanin. Hey, did you know that that's Danish for little rabbit? No, that's so crazy. Never heard that fact before. He preemptively says to everybody in chat. Top left, we got the red Protoss Goblin. The real question was, did the pizza taste good? Oh, it was fucking delicious. It's like authentic Italian pizza. It's made in like a stone oven. It's a little bit expensive, and I'm not a big fan of that, but you know what? It's delicious. And I will say, as much as it gets a bad rap, Domino's is also a place I love ordering from, and that place is fairly cheap, actually. In fact, if anyone here is like a super diehard fan, and I don't expect anyone to be, I want to say like 5 or 6 months back on the Stacy Roy's stream, she was hosting this like D&D session I came over for, and we ordered a pizza from every pizza place nearby to determine which was the best one, and Domino's nailed it for its price cost without even question. Panago was like twice the cost for the same size pizza. I was like, sorry, Panago, you're really not that good. Like, you know? Anyways, we got a proxy coming down. It's likely going to be a Stargate. Lillekanin actually gets a pretty good scout with the SCV, and the number, well, I guess the two combination things he sees here that are very important is, first off, no second pylon in the base. This is incredibly fishy because he's not playing against a Diamond League player, right? Secondly, no Nexus, so there's no supply being made over here, and Lillekanin has to know it's a proxy, so he's looking for it. He wants to find it because it's important to know what type of proxy it's going to be. Of course, it's a classic Stargate proxy, and it's going to be annoying and blah, blah, blah. But I think he'll get the Widowmine out in time. If not, he can pull SCVs. Like, he should be fine, especially when he scouts it. In fact, you guys ready for this? There we go. Probe was left alive, so it can come put down another pylon. I don't know that it'll necessarily need to, but he's going to lay into this about as thick as he can with the Reaper. Mothership core comes across the map. Oh, this is going to get downright dirty. We're probably going to have a pylon push in the front, and Lillekanin knew this would be the case, so he puts a bunker down here, which is so important. This pylon living or dying means almost nothing compared to that bunker going up. Two Marines going to be popping out soon. Widowmine against the Oracle race. Looks like the Widowmine should be out in time as predicted. The Reaper's going to die, which kind of sucks. He almost gets the pylon. That would have been really cool. But the double pylons over here are going to be for not. Goblin's not going to be able to pylon rush this the way he wants to. Or if he does, it's at least not going to be as effective. Because tearing down something like a bunker is not the same as tearing down those depots. A lot of the time, you trade out one pylon for the depots, and it ends up being pretty devastating on account of the fact you supply block the Terran. But Lillekanin's bunker going to buy a little bit of time here. Focuses down the Adept. Kind of an interesting choice. Mothership core gets focused too. Marines to pop out of the bunker, walk out of the overcharge range. If 3 had lived, he could have taken on the Oracle. Excuse me, the Adept. But the Oracle, where is the Oracle? Shit, did that already go off? Yeah, Widowmine fired. Looks like the Oracle died while all this chaos was going on. And I guess he'll get one of the depots, maybe both? I don't know. He's got Widowmines here. He could repair this one, too. It's not in range of the SCVs, but he's not going to. So, oh, it's burning. It's not dead yet. It's not dead yet. Oh, that was a really unfortunate Adept. But Lillekanin holds, and he holds pretty well, all things considered. I'd say a lot of the times dropping supply, you know, we've heard it from all Terran pros, it's almost never worth it, but I think in this scenario it is. You just set off a pretty big attack, you're going to get 2 pylons for value. Mothership core may even die if she gets greedy, so heck, drop that supply, have a party. But looks like another Oracle got over here. Not for naught, the Mothership core also kind of saved enough energy for another overcharge, so this will not be able to do much but stop units in between the base. Oracle wrapped in and got about 3 kills. There is the Widowmine still available, but it's on the wrong side of the mineral line, so it's not going to get much done. Cyclone being brought over here to, maybe protect this mineral line? Nope. Feels bad, man. Even the Marines will die to this. But he's going to use this to kill the Stargate, kill the pylon. Kill the pylon. Kill the pylon. Kill the pylon. Okay, let's kill the Stargate. There we go. Unfortunately, it looks like another Oracle will finish up because he didn't target down the pylon first, and that's going to hurt Lillekanin just a little bit. But, yeah, what's that, about 3 Oracles floating around the map? It's kind of scary. Kind of scary for any Terran player out there, really. So missile turrets become very, very important because one Widowmine will no longer cut it. Unless there's like some intense stacking and 2 Widowmines hit, but I don't think that'll be the case. In fact, that looks like Revelation was cast out of this one, so it can see the army movements. What? What? Hang on.
What?
Let's go for a cloaked Banshee follow-up to this. This is really interesting. So the Banshee is going to be a lot of problems most of the time, but the cloak element's going to have another aspect to it here, because the oracles are going to be across the map and unlikely to be at home. And if this is the case, then that cloak is going to have, doesn't matter how many overcharges or stalkers you have back home defensively, if you can't see the Banshee, she's going to run away with that mineral line. And it's worth noting, like, there is anti-air. So, oh, cannons start up. Oh, this is brilliant. This is so smart and so necessary. There's no way for Lillekanin to know this, so I don't think he's going to be canceling cloak or anything. But, man, that would have been so cool if he got away with it. Well, assessing the damages here, really not that much to really be said. Both players lost a bit. Lillekanin obviously a few more workers than his opponent, but Mule should be helping bridge that gap. Yeah, it's not so bad. This was the worst point of it, but looks like he's going to be okay. Now, as he tries to get return damage, the Banshee can still outrange the cannon. The cannon just like any turret or sport crawl. You can kind of dance around it, maybe get some kills if your opponent's distracted. Widowmines, unfortunately, will not cut it. Actually, it would have been really nice if these two had paired up together, but... There we go, the Banshee is going to hold position, yeah, outside the range of the cannon. This forces a pull away from Goblin. Meanwhile, boosts over to the main with these Widowmines. One might burrow and get a shot off, but they're both definitely going to die. In fact, whoa! There we go. There's no way that first one should be able to get a shot off. It was burrowed right next to the cannon. Meanwhile, looks like we do have a full-fledged attack set up, and, well, Lillekanin may have done some cool harass. He actually has nothing at home. There's like 3 Cyclones. This is bad. This is so bad. For a player going mech 2, this is like one of the weakest points for him here in the early game. That bunker's going to go down like nothing. Stalker's going to tear through these Cyclones too. Guardian Shield's going to help out a ton. In fact, the Oracle's also dealing some pretty significant damage. He does have more Cyclones, more tanks, more things on the way, but it's not going to be enough. And GG's get called. Goblin will take the first game in this best of 3. And I got to legitimately use both
What?
and in that series, so that makes me pretty happy. We need more soundboard. This soundboard thing is going to annoy so many people and probably alienate even more, but I'm excited to keep using it. Alright, and I just made a tweet that could possibly be misinterpreted. I just would like to emphasize that when I ask, is it too late to get out of StarCraft, it is a sarcastic take on the ever-popular question, is it too late to get into StarCraft? Heyo, sir, how you doing? What's up, Blaney? Blaine11. Thank you very much for that picture, man. I'm glad to see you appreciate the gift and that she has won a spot amongst your wall of cool nerd things. We're getting into map 2, Ascension to Ire, Goblin and Lillekanin. If you guys are just joining us, Goblin is up 1-0 in the series. It's worth noting that this is not a double elimination bracket. There's quite a few games to be played through a round of 128, so a lot of players competing today. But as I said, I don't actually know how much of the bracket we're covering. We, us, I, whoever, whatever, but we'll go through about as much as we can. Because again, tonight, the big thing about today is that there is a show match tonight, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Don't miss it. It's Game Time versus Peely Peely. Probably one of the best NA Zergs versus one of the best NA Protoss. And I think it's going to be a pretty good show. Best of 7, Fear Dragon will be joining me for the cast. But we also have some really, really, really big news that I can't wait to tell you about. There's a hiccup here just waiting for Goblin. I'm just going to be right back 1 sec, so put the in-game screen on so you don't miss anything if it starts without me. And I'm back, baby. Soundboard adds production value. Don't listen, haters. Listen to your heart. We love you. But here's the thing. My heart is an obnoxious shit poster at its core, and that is who I am. So I am fully aware that the things I like, others do not. But thank you for the kind message. We need that sound sample from the Carbot Tech Lab. Hello, Zergling. If you can get me that, I will add that to the soundboard. I'm trying to avoid using some of the more, I guess, already used lines. Like, of course, there's the Roddy soundboard. I don't want to take anything from that, although I think it would be really fun. And other good gems out there. But, yeah, that's going to be, I think, something we build over time. But, ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 in this best of 3. Maybe I'll use my super announcer voice to introduce this guy. In the top left, it's none other than Lillekanin. With his opponent in the bottom right, the Red Protoss Goblin. I feel like if I had to spend a whole match talking like that, though, I would be very uncomfortable. Gotta, like, speak from the chest and talk like you've got some money in your pocket because you've been doing this long enough that you get to talk like this. Actually, I feel like if I go a little bit deeper, I could maybe go Patrick Warburton, but probably not. No one can quite pull off Patrick Warburton. The best impersonators who try even can't. But Goblin took a pretty gross game 1. Lot of dirty Protoss tactics, proxy Stargate, pylon rush, and Lillekanin made a lot of the right moves to keep that from getting out of hand. I think where it really fell apart from him, though, is he may have focused a little too much on one and not the other. And I don't mean pylon rush versus oracles. He handled both pretty well, in my opinion. But it came down a lot to, like, you're playing mech, and when you're playing mech, if you're really distracted by one thing, you can forget to make units. And excuse me. One of the biggest flaws I saw from Lillekanin was I think he assumed after shutting down the cheese he had more time to buy than he really did. And he's done what I've seen many times through pro players and through my own terrible gameplay. As you go too many factories, too many starboards, you get too much production, and you're not actually left with enough money to build units with. You'll notice, I think at the end of the game, I believe it was like 4 factories, but there's 1 cyclone and 1 tank in production. And unfortunately, with factories and starports casting gas and everything else combined, you just really don't have the money to get units out, especially when you need them. Now, if Goblin had played a little more passive with that follow-up, I think Lillekanin would have had a phenomenal defense. Tanks and cyclones aplenty, but oh, are both players going to be doing some cheekiness? Maybe. We'll find out in a moment. By the way, sorry, I didn't see it earlier. Lilin Sui was asking about this in chat, but for anyone else, just a general blanket statement. We do have a 12-month resub reward. If you've been hanging out in the channel for longer than that, I applaud you and thank you, of course, for your dedication. But if you guys are subbed to the channel for at least 12 months or more, you are eligible to get a Partoof, a real-life one at that. It's metal, it's nice, it's commemorative, and it doesn't cost you a thing. We'll send it to you out of our own pocket. So please send us a direct message here on Twitch, and we'll get you a form to fill out so that we can send that out to you. ZombieRub typically mails them out once a month, or I'll mail them out once a month. But a proxy starport combined with the tech lab. Wait, he just got 2 kills. What else killed the probe? Reaper. Reaper died to kill the other probe. Okay, because it's like he killed the one in the main. I didn't even see him make the Reaper, to be honest with you. But anyways, Mothership Core's looking for this. Both players have probably played each other enough times to know what sort of stuff is in store. And yeah, I said it before we even got into the very first game. Both Lillekanin and Goblin can be very cheesy players at times. Now you'll notice he ends up making a medevac out of this, partially because I think this can boost away, another part because he can also use it to help maneuver and micro this cyclone around. But that pylon going down is a pretty big deal. Even with the Immortal coming out, this could still be very tricky here for Goblin. The Adept, of course, can't take on the Cyclone, but the Adept plus a Stalker plus an Immortal certainly can. Yo, Dom, that is perhaps the best new chat command I have seen in a goddamn long time. Thank you for making that, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, Cyclone can't do much. Lonesome and alone. But you know what? A Liberator and 2 more Cyclones? Oh, we got a party on our hands. Dare's asking in chat, BaseTradeTV, are you going to TwitchCon? There's a big hard maybe on this, and this has a little bit to do with the announcement later tonight, and secondly to do with the fact that I really love TwitchCon, but I don't think TwitchCon is for esports people, if that makes sense. And the reason for this is we are blessed. We get to go to Austin or an IEM or whatever events we put on ourselves, and we get to meet a lot of fans there, and we get to hang out and do a cool event. But oh, that medevac, no way! Oh no, 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 not jumping. Feels bad, man. Did what he had to do. But this did burn overcharges, so it's not available for the Liberator, perhaps. This is still gonna be tough. Look, he's playing cheesy and not macro, so he's not gonna have a lot behind this if Goblin goes for a push. But sorry, I was saying really quick, a lot of other streamers don't really have that thing to go to or don't have that thing they want to go to, right? So you got some folks out there, like Pokimane goes to an LCS, causes a fucking storm. Pokimane goes to a TwitchCon, probably still causes a fucking storm. But other streamers don't have those opportunities, so TwitchCon is kind of like the place for them, I feel. Not to mention a lot of the panels and stuff, 2 years in a row. Well, informative are things I already knew. So I'm really on the fence about TwitchCon. I don't know that it's worth it for me personally, but I think it's going to be a really cool event and probably worth going to for a lot of others. And the last point is, I will say, the cool factor of like partying in that after party last year in the baseball diamond probably will never be matched. Maybe this year's after party will be more cool, but I don't go to TwitchCon for the after party. I want to go to it for the people, for the panels, if anything. But enough about that. Game ending push possibly on the way here. There's no starport at home to help defend against this. It's only the ground units. 1 Liberator, 2 Cyclones. Whoa, we got like a Christmas song in the making here. 4 Hellbats, 2 Cyclones, Liberator, and a Siege Tank in a natural. The Adepts will go in first to see what's going on here. This will also get in the dead zone of the tank. You probably could have transferred through that if you really, really wanted to commit. Hellbats, they are pretty beefy, but they're still not going to hold up to Adept damage in a lot of situations. Meanwhile, other side of the map, another Liberator on the way, slowly being chipped away by this Adept. Slowly being the emphasis. The Immortal here is not even the most dangerous part, but it's going to cause a freaking lot of damage. I think that, oh, if he just lifts up and goes elsewhere, though, Lillekanin's waiting for this. He's anticipating this even. Stalkers do have Blink so they can get up to the high ground. 2 Cyclones won't be enough. If it was just going to be the Warp Prism, maybe they could, but Adept's going to hit that mineral line, and Lillekanin just doesn't have enough units to dance between all these locations. He has to pick and commit to defending one, which means he'll lose out on the other. So if he doesn't lose out in the main through production, and oh, he saves that Immortal, so dirty! He's going to lose out on SCVs in the natural, and that exact thing happens. 15 workers die. Lillekanin in a lot of trouble now. Depths transfer out. Goblin takes what seems like no damage from this. Oh my god, he actually... What did he lose so far this game? Oh my god.
What?
There's almost nothing lost from Goblin over the course of this game. There was the 2 probes early on. I'm not sure where the 3rd one came from, to be honest with you, but the 1 Stalker... That Observer, that's nothing. From a proxy starport, good game out of Goblin so far. And I think getting the Immortal out alive is not as crazy as getting that Sentry out alive. Like hot guacamole. Stalker's looking to push in for some more poke, but with Blink, I don't think there's much plan here to commit, yeah. This is the kind of annoying thing for the Terran player in this situation. The Stalkers have quite a bit of shields on them, so things like tank fire ends up getting washed off, as it will take away these shields, but not much else. So that little precision blink would be really nice. I guess talking about the changes here, charge, of course, doesn't cost very much, but we're not going to see this timing be the game breaker, I feel. I really like this Hellion run by, but it's worth noting, like Hellbats, well, they do kind of soak well. The thing is, you still, between your Cyclones, your Siege Tanks, your Liberators, you don't have a lot of things that will deal with charge lots and, more importantly, Immortals very well. And that's where I think this game gets really tough here for Lillekanin. Hellbats, they're frustrating units because they just don't get the job done a lot of the times you'd think they'd get the job done. I didn't know, Kev, in chat. I would just like to note that I see your joke. I respect your joke. And I'm trying difficultly not to laugh too much at it. That was good. I've not heard that one before. But army supply here very, very heavily favors Goblin. There's not that many siege tanks out. It is primarily Cyclones, which, granted, with +1 will tear through Stalkers, but it still leaves the problem of these Immortals, which are hitting for 50 a shot. The Adepts are not going to be the most dangerous thing here, but they can tank hits, which is going to make it tough for the Cyclones, because you have to fire over those and get the Stalkers, get the Immortals, and just the whole thing. It's a whole thing! Command Center transferring over. Probably shouldn't. Oh, no, he's going to lose this if this goes too deep. He's going to move up to try and protect it, though. The observer of the army knows exactly what's going on. The Command Center tries to land once again, and this is... Even if this was a planetary, but it's, I mean, it's a third, so it's probably not going to be. But even if this was a planet, no, it is going to be a planetary. Okay, but even if it is a planetary, you've still got everything here that is going to tear. This isn't like silly lings attacking into a planetary fortress. It's freaking charge slots and stalkers. There's only one way that could go. Well, warping towards the main. The tank, unfortunately, has dead zones, so it can't shoot anything directly in front of it. Lillekanin also can't bring too much back to defend this. I think he knows that if he does, it exposes him on the front lines here. If he can get a fight around the planetary, that's going to be his best bet and best course of action and best hope to make things happen. But, yeah. Blue Flame gets saved. Actually, that's kind of a big deal. Hellbat's right now only dealing like 21 damage a shot to light units. That Blue Flame's going to up it by quite a bit. Not going to get that Warp Prism, of course. But yeah, Blue Flame finishes up, and now it's 33 damage a shot. That's going to be hugely helpful against things like Zealots and Adepts. But at the end of the day, I guarantee you every Terran player sees this many Zealots and they wish they had a Widow Minefield to go with. Real talk, if you're making out and the other party has their eyes wide open, you lose focus. So I'm an eyes shut kind of make out guy, but I feel like if their eyes are open while they're making out with you, there's no way for you to know this if you're not an eye open maker outer. So you would have to also be somebody who has their eyes wide open making out. So would it be that weird in that case if you're both? I think it would be weird. Actually, what would be more awkward is not being the person involved in that makeout session with your eyes wide open and staring at each other, but to be a passerby or a third party who has to watch that happen. Can you imagine two people, eyes are wide open, paranoid, buggy, and they're just like, and you're just like, no, that's not what I needed to see today. Oh, no. So there is actually an interesting development here. Change of strategy, a bit of a pivot from Goblin as he moves towards Void Rays, going for air weapon upgrades too. Talk more about that in a moment because it might not matter if he loses this fight. Liberator's going to do what it can, but yeah, it's picked off pretty much immediately. I like the spread out of the Cyclones, but unfortunately with all these shots being wasted on the Adepts, they don't get to use their great potential on the Immortals. Tanks will push this back nonetheless. Oh, it's Tempest, not Void Rays. Excuse me, I didn't realize he had thrown down a fleet bacon, but that is the case. Void Rays had a change recently, though, for those who are unaware. That's when they prismatically align, aka go Super Saiyan mode for about 5 seconds. They're slowed down by like 40%. They move like a queen off of creep. It's bad. But the Tempests have got that range. They can certainly poke and push back. Thors on the way are an interesting choice, too. Talk more on that in a moment. I don't think their armor upgrade is going to have any bearing, though. Like one extra armor versus an immortal shot? No, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. Scanning the main reveals one of the Tempests, too, so he decides to start making some Ravens. I like the Ravens a lot, but we'll see if they come into play or not, because this fight still might break Lillekanin. Upgrades favoring Goblin, army supply favoring Goblin, army type favoring Goblin, and Lillekanin is going to have to tap out. GG. Goblin will take the series 2-0, and this guy is off to a great start for his Valencia bracket. That's a 2-0 into another 2-0 for him. A little bit sad to see Lillekanin fall, though. Always sad to see a good player go down. But the rest of the bracket's starting to shape up a little bit. The winner of this will, of course, play what is going to eventually be BCQD. Hey, you got a game? I'll see if he's available now. If he's not, we'll just sit around waiting. But we're going to go to commercial break in the meantime. Thank you guys for joining me here on the early morning broadcast. No subs, no bits, no donations. Feels bad, man, but I am glad to have all of you with me. We'll see you soon.